All right, scholars, this is our book for Listen and Respond for this week. It's called Drop It, Rocket. So let's check out the cover together. I see a puppy on the front, and it looks like he's got a boot in his mouth, and he looks kind of sad because his head is kind of hunched over. So let's turn it over and see what's on the back. It says, Rocket finds a red boot, and he doesn't want to let go. What will make Rocket drop it? Let's see what we can find out. First, let's go ahead and make sure our name is on our paper. So I wrote my name at the top, Miss A, 9/23/2019. Drop It, Rocket is the title, so I went ahead and wrote that down. Notice that my first letter of each word is capitalized because this is the title of a book. So let's go ahead and get started. As college-ready readers, we always use college-ready sentences. We always support our ideas with evidence from the text. Number 1, preview. Readers always collect clues before they get started reading. Look at the front and back covers of the book before you start reading or listening to the story and fill in the chart below. What do you think this book is going to be about? Why do you think this? I think this book will be about blank. I think this because blank. So what do you think this book is going to be about? I see a puppy on the cover and he's got a boot in his mouth and the title is Drop It, Rocket. So I'm thinking this book will be about a dog who chews on things he should not chew on. I think this book will be about a dog who chews on things he should not chew on. I think this because I see a dog on the cover with a boot in his mouth. So that's why I think that the book will be about a dog who chews on things he shouldn't, because I see this dog on the cover and he's got a boot in his mouth. I also know in my brain that dogs aren't supposed to chew on shoes. So that's why I think that this book will be about this. So go ahead and either copy this down or come up with your own 2 answers here, and we'll go ahead and get started reading. Rocket and the little yellow bird love words. They love their word tree too. Are you ready to find new words for our word tree? Asks the bird. Yes, I am, says Rocket. Rocket finds a leaf. Drop it, Rocket, says the bird. Rocket drops the leaf. He is a good dog. All right, I'm going to pause right here because I'm ready to write down some of my characters' names. So on the next page, we're on number 3, characters and setting. Readers know that understanding the characters and setting of a story will help them to better understand what's going on in the story. List the characters from the story. What do you know about them? Inner traits and outer traits. So remember, inner traits are things on the inside that we can only tell by what the character does, what they say, how they act. And then outer traits are traits on the outside. We can see them if we look at the character. So we see that they have long hair. We see that they have short hair, right? But inner traits are things that we can only tell by when they do something. So like if the character were to bring someone a cookie on their birthday, what kind of a trait would that be? That would be they're kind because you saw them do something nice for someone else, right? So who are the characters in this story? We have Rocket and the little bird. Okay? Rocket and the little bird. Then it says, what do you know about them? Well, Rocket is a dog. I can look at him and tell that. So he's a dog. What else do we know about Rocket? He's a good listener, I think, because he dropped the leaf when the bird asked him to. So I'm going to write that he's a good listener. All right, now we have the little bird. What do we know? I want you to copy down what you know about the bird. So I came up with the traits for the dog for you so you could see how to do it. Now you are going to fill in these 2 traits for the bird. So maybe you can already fill them in. Maybe you need to listen to the story a little bit more to get to know the bird a little bit better. Go ahead and do that. Let's keep reading and see if we can figure out what the setting is for our story. Oof, I can't find the page. Okay. Rocket finds a hat. Drop it, Rocket. Rocket drops the hat. Good boy. Rocket finds a star. Drop it, Rocket. Rocket drops the star. Good boy. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause here because it looks like they're outside. And I'm guessing that they're outside because I see grass. So I'm going to go ahead and write that the setting of the story, it says here number 2, or we're still on number 3. What is the setting of the story? The setting of the story is where the story takes place. The setting of this story is at, and I'm just going to say outside. Okay? The setting is outside. Let's go ahead and keep reading and see what happens next. Rocket finds a red boot. Drop it, Rocket, says the bird. Oh, I see. They have all of their new words on their tree. We have leaf, star, tree, bird, dog, and hat. So everything Rocket has found, he's put on the tree. Drop it, Rocket. Drop it, Rocket. Rocket likes the boot. He will not drop it. So I'm going to go ahead and pause here, and I want us to make a prediction. Number 4 says, make a prediction. A prediction is when readers guess what might happen next in the story. What do you think might happen next? So it says, blank has happened in the story. So something I think might happen next is blank. So go ahead and copy down what I write here. Rocket will not drop the boot. So make sure you get that copied if you don't have a paper that already has it on there. So Rocket, R-O-C-K-E-T, will, W-I-L-L, not, N-O-T, drop, D-R-O-P, the, T-H-E, boot, B-O-O-T. So make sure that you have this copied. If you need to pause, rewind, fast forward, whatever you need to do to get this whole thing written down right here. If you don't have the same thing that I have written in this spot, it's going to be counted wrong. And then the next answer will probably be wrong too, because you need to think about what this says in order to answer what you think might happen next. So thinking about what you know about dogs and their toys and what you know that's happened in the story so far, what do you think is going to happen next if Rocket won't drop this boot? What do you think Bird's going to do? What do you think could happen to the boot? Think about what happens next if you had a dog and he wouldn't drop something that you wanted him to drop. What would you do next? And that's what you're going to write right here on this line. So go ahead and fill that in. And let's see if you are correct in your prediction. Remember, a prediction is a guess. Will you drop it for a ball? Asks the bird. Rocket will not drop it. Will you drop it for a stick? Asks Emma. Rocket will not drop it. Will you drop it for a sock? Asks Fred. Rocket will not drop it. I have an idea, says Owl. Owl finds a book. Will you drop it for a book? Asks Owl. Rocket drops the boot. Rocket dropped it, says the bird. Rocket is a good dog. The end. All right, so now we're on number 5, visualize. Readers always think about how this story might look in their heads. Readers make a mind movie about what they are reading and see in the story in their heads. So what do you think this part of the story might look like if you were there to look at it? So I'm going to go ahead and read this out to you, and then we're going to talk about what needs to be filled in and what you need to copy down. So I'm imagining the part in the story where blank is happening. I'm imagining it looks like blank. 3 things to describe this are blank, blank, and blank. Okay, so the very first one is what I'm going to have you copy down. So imagining the part in the story where Rocket has the boot. So make sure you copy this down, and it should be the same for everybody's paper. So write this down. If you need to pause, rewind, in order to get it to where you can copy it, go ahead and do that now. I'm going to spell it out for you. Rocket, R-O-C-K-E-T, has, H-A-S, the, T-H-E, boot, B-O-O-T, is happening. I'm imagining it looks like, so I think this might be kind of funny to see a puppy dog carrying a boot around, so I'm going to write it, it looks funny or silly. You can write what I write here, or you can write whatever you want in that box, in that blank, but this is where you describe it in one word. Like, this is where you tell me what you think it looks like. A lot of us are putting words like this down here on our examples, but how do I know something looks funny? Like, what's going on that makes me think, oh, that's funny looking, and that's silly looking? So up here is where you put the one word to describe it. Down here is where you tell me what you see that lets you know it looks funny or it looks silly. So 3 things to describe this are, you have a dog with a boot in his mouth. What are some things you might see? So I think I would see a red boot with dog slobber. Ew, gross. But I know dogs slobber, and I know if they have the boot in their mouth, they're probably going to have slobber all over it. What else are some things you might see the dog doing with a boot if he had it? Have you ever seen a dog play with a toy? Think about the things that the dog would do with the toy. What if you were trying to get the boot away from the dog? What might he do? Describe what you would see if this was actually happening in front of you. So go ahead and fill in these last 2 blanks. You can copy down the ones I've done for you if you would like. This first one absolutely has to be copied down. I spelled it out for you. It needs to be the same as mine. The rest of these can be, if you want to come up with your own, you can. All right, now number 6, summarize. Readers, think about the most important parts of a book. In your own words, give me a summary of the story you just listened to. The story blank, title of the story. Oh, I know that tells me that the title of the story is going to go in this blank. So the title of the story is Drop It, Rocket. Talks about blank characters. Oh, I know the characters are going to go in that first blank ahead of it. So we have Rocket, the bird, and friends, right? Because there were some other characters that came along later. So we wrote those down. Now we're ready to do beginning, middle, and end. And if you flip your paper over, those boxes will be on that blank. All right, so we have, in the beginning of the story, blank happens. After that, blank happens. In the end of the story, blank happens. So at the beginning of the story, Rocket will not let go of the boot. Go ahead and copy that down. Rocket will not let go of the boot. After that, what happens after he won't let go? What do the other characters try to do to help him to let go of the boot? In the end of the story, blank. After the characters help him in the middle, what happens? Does he ever drop the boot? How is the problem solved? So go ahead and fill in those last 2 blanks. Once you finish this week's Listen and Respond, you are hopping onto your word worksheets. This week we're doing 10, 11, and 12. Then if you finish that, you can do IXL or you can do Lexia.